Miami Heat Nation, what is going on? So we got a special guest with us today, Anthony DiNardo, man. Definitely go check out his channel. Probably one of the most, I ain't even trying to deride, but he has the cleanest channel out here with the thumbnails, great content, great diss tracks, especially Terry Rozier. And I wouldn't be surprised if he drops a diss track on Andrew Wiggins after his performance, because that was horrible. But yeah, definitely go check out his channel. And today, we are going to be talking about a lot of Miami Heat stuff, especially during, the outcome of the playoffs, obviously with the Cavs and the Heat. Then we're going to be talking about the offseason because I think this is another big offseason for, Pat Riley, Spo, and for Tyler and Bam and stuff like that. So anything you got to say before we start, Ant?
Well, first off, make sure y'all subscribe to my boy Trent. I mean, I seen you been posting every damn day. What day is this? 80 something?
Nah, 120.
Oh shit, I was way off.
Yeah.
Damn, hey, if y'all ain't sub for that dedication, then I don't know what y'all doing. Make sure y'all tapping for my boy. I'd ask how you doing, but I know how you got the anti-Tyler agenda. And after those 4 points in an elimination game, I'm sure you looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, man. Listen, dude, honestly though, I've been rooting for Tyler this whole season, believe it or not, surprisingly. He came back
You're
from a
not a
lot.
good liar, bro.
No, I have, bro. I really have, bro. You know what it is, bro? Pat Riley calling him fragile. He bounced back in the regular season. He had career highs in each statistical stat that you could think of: points, rebounds, assists, shooting. And it's just the postseason for me. I can't consider you a great player if you don't perform at the highest. You know what I mean? And so my problem is, and I'm gonna ask you some questions. It's just and he kind of debunked them already, but I kind of do want to get your opinion on it. He made some comments about Jimmy Butler, but I guess the Athletic reporter, made a headline pretty much indicated that he needed Jimmy to win and this and that. And, Tyler came out and said, listen, I don't need nobody to win. We all know how reporters and writers do to get some clicks and views. Trust and believe. We get it. But how do you feel about those comments though? Do you think about Tyler saying that during the series, which in my opinion was just a terrible look, like the reporter did at the perfect time? And what do you think of his performance in this contract extension? So 3 things. The comment that he said about Jimmy, his performance, the last 2 games specifically, and him coming out saying, listen, that's fine. You don't got to give me a contract extension in October. But if we wait, I want more money.
Well, as far as the performance, the last 2 games is the only thing that's relevant, right? Who gives a shit if he scored 30 points in game 2? He was terrible in the last 2 games. That's all that matters. And as far as the quotes, I know he was on Instagram. He called the reporter a goofy. He said that it was taken out of context. Not really. It was a pretty long quote that the reporter put out there. And to be honest, Tyler's reasoning made no sense. He was like, oh, yeah, I said that, but I was talking about how in the beginning of the season, I would have said that we needed Jimmy Butler. His response made no sense to me. And that was further confirmed when Ira asked him about it in the exit interview. And basically Tyler was like, oh man, I already answered that. I put it on my IG story. It's we know that. That's why Ira's asking you to elaborate that now that you got a mic in front of your face. But instead he kind of snapped and is just oh, go read my IG story. I answered that. Whether you said it about the beginning of the season or not, you said it now, and there's no other way you can spin those words other than you said you need Jimmy Butler. But then he's like, oh, whatever, I could go 0-82, and I would never say I need no one else to win, which I believe because I think he has the utmost confidence. We've seen that, with his confidence shot selection, we'll say. But regarding his performance in the series, it's bro, you came out after game 3 and you said, I love the defense. I love it. There's a way to figure it out. And it's why is he lying about that? Because obviously he's lying. He had a bucket the first minute of game 4, never had another bucket, right? So obviously he's lying. But he was honest about everything else. He was honest saying that he needs Jimmy Butler to win. He was honest a couple months ago when he said this team's not a contender. So I appreciated his honesty for a while. But then you're going to say in game 3, you got the defense figured out. And then in game 4, you know where to be found. So that to me, and then that leads right into the contract extension because we know he's going to want a max contract, $50 million a year for 3 years. I'm sure we agree he's not worth that, but he better not even ask for that. If you're going to say that you need Jimmy Butler, how can you then command a max contract after you just said that you need someone else to win? You can't. And then he's like, oh, well, I can get more money next year if I hold off a little bit. Only if you play well, only if you play good in the postseason, which guess what, Trent? We haven't seen that yet. So
Yeah, we
I
haven't.
yeah, I think they might offer him maybe in the $40 million range. What do you think?
Yeah, so listen, I think let me just look at his contract real quick right now because what he's getting is like 20 mil, I believe. I believe around there right now. Not 20 mil. I'm way off. Hold up. Let me see this real quick.
Yeah, I think he's got like 3 more years left, around 30 or something, and
Yeah,
then
so he's getting
obviously
around
got another
29,
year.
31, 33. Okay, yeah. So he's gonna clearly want a lot more. So this is what Heat Nation dropped. I'm sure you seen his page around Twitter and stuff like that. So if this is his projection right here, and say if they do wait and say they go 48, 52, 58, I'm gonna fall on the ground. Dude, I swear, if this happens, because you got to think about it, right? Jimmy's older, cool, but you wasn't even willing to give Jimmy that just plus 1 year during this whole saga. And so if we're gonna lock up Tyler Herro, that means he's gonna be locked up for the next 2030, bro. That's like 5 years from now, right? So he's completely the future. That means he has to be our number one option. And a number one option, you don't just pay that much money for a number two, number three. He's not a number one option. That's the problem. He'll never be a number one option ever. He's not good enough. The defense exposed him, right? Putting up 4 points, putting up 13, 17 points in 2 games. His playoff averages dropped to 15 points per game. He only has 2 good games in the last 2 years in the postseason. One against the Celtics, and then the rest was terrible, and then one against the Cavaliers. So those are the 2 good games he had in the last 2 years. The problem is Pat Riley has
The
some
last
like
3 years,
attachment.
really.
Yeah.
Like, the last-
Why does Pat have such a attachment with Tyler? That's my thing. It's just like it's a Pat Riley, it's a front office thing. They have an attachment with Tyler Herro. Damn right, knowing he's not that guy. He's just not. So
He's not even culture. Like, you look at Pat's asphyxiation with Alonzo and Udonis Haslem. What the hell does Tyler have in common with those guys? Nothing.
yeah, it's so weird to me, right? And you know what's funny though, Ant? Listen, I was the one that's saying, listen, let's let go of Jimmy. And I'm actually laughing with Jimmy now because I'm laughing with Jimmy. He made a comment after he won, not the game yesterday, but the game before, and he was like, "I got my
Got
joy
my
back."
joy back.
Yeah, and I thought that was I thought that was funny as hell because he said it. The Miami Heat gets swept. We lose by 55. Tyler's having terrible games and stuff like that. So I personally thought that was hilarious. But I think we can agree, or maybe we disagree. Do we put up Tyler Herro on a trade block and just listen what his value is? What field us some trade offers? Or do you think, bro, don't even waste our time. Let's not stress us out. He's staying on this team.
Well, ideally, out of any of the stars that may be available this offseason, Ja, Trey, KD, Giannis, ideally Tyler's the centerpiece for that. In addition to the picks and young assets we have. If you can keep Bam, that's best case scenario. So the same thing we dealt with the Damian Lillard thing is they didn't want Tyler. Not a lot of people wanted Tyler. Granted, he's had a better season now. So the smart thing to do would be to gauge the trade market for him, find someone who wants him, and then use the assets that you get for him to flip for a Giannis or whoever else. Because obviously, as things stand now, the Heat have 3 tradable first. It could be 4 if they amend some protections. But right this second, they got 3 picks. That's not enough to compete with Houston, OKC. We know this. But if you can flip Tyler, after last season, I would have said he could have got you 1 pick. After this season, maybe he can get you 2 first. He's an all-star. He's 25 years old. I think you can convince a young team to send over 2 first-round picks. What does Brooklyn have to lose? They need pieces. They need contracts, whatever. So now if you trade in for 2 first-round picks, whatever salary filler you get, you got 5 first-round picks in your arsenal to swing via trade. Or at least you can gauge the trade market. So if it comes time to trade for Giannis, the Bucks, why would they want Tyler Herro? They're going to have Dame when he returns. That don't make no sense. But you now know what Tyler's worth is to now flip him to a third team, send those assets to Milwaukee. So 100%. Unless Tyler is willing to accept an extension in the $35 million range, sign him. I'm cool with that. He's not ass. He's a $35 million a year player, especially when that salary cap spikes in a few years. I'm cool with that. He's not going to take that money. Don't make the same mistake you did with Jimmy Butler. Let it get to that point. Trade him right now where his value is at an all-time high, regardless of what he did in the postseason, because he'll never perform in the postseason. So, yeah, they should absolutely gauge the trade market. You can't win with this guy on $50 million, like you said.
Definitely. And so I'm glad that you brought up the Jimmy situation because I kind of want to transition to what we got from the Jimmy trade. I never specifically talked to you about this since that trade happened, but the main guy was Andrew Wiggins. And I think the best we got off this was Davion Mitchell. So I'm gonna ask you two questions involving this. One, what's up with Andrew Wiggins? Like, bro, the dude averaged 11 points in the postseason. He was unplayable. There was a game where he didn't even play in the fourth quarter. We're having Nikola Jovic, who has a messed up damn hand, have to shoot all these 3-pointers in the corner, showing 1 for 8. What do we do with this Wiggins guy? Is he a part of a bigger trade, or did the Miami Heat go, listen, we didn't have a full offseason with Wiggins, and they didn't get their chemistry right, so we're gonna run it back. Let's trust.
Don't even finish that question. Why would you ask me that bullshit? Bro, that's like my automatic block on Twitter is if someone says give Wiggins a full training camp, automatic block. I don't want to, bro. That's like I was at the courts yesterday, and the guy found out I was a Heat fan, and he was like, bro, y'all gotta make some moves this offseason. Like, as long as y'all keep Tyler, you're good. And I said, okay, now I know I need to exit this conversation because you don't know basketball. But I was like, I'll entertain it until you said that. I was like, okay, very clearly you're missing a few brain cells there. But was your question? Is there a chance that it could work out if he gets a practice training camp with us?
So, listen, Tyler. Well, his performance was awful, right? And listen, I destroyed him all over my YouTube channel. He put up 11 points. He was terrible. Field goal percentage like around 30%. Do they go out there in this offseason and try to trade him, or do they say, listen, because he's still on contract? That's the thing. Like, we still have him for another year or so. Do they just go like, listen, do we keep him, or like, let's try to trade him for a bigger deal? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like you throw Wiggins, Duncan, or Rozier, or whatever the case is. I'm just trying to figure a trade out. We're not getting nothing in return. Like, there's just nothing in return at all. So do you just kind of bank on him like being healthy a little bit more? Because like, and I'm just trying to play devil advocate because I feel like Wiggins, when he was on Golden State, just near the end before he got traded, he actually was playing some good basketball. Then he came to Miami. He got the hamstring injury, and I don't know what the hell happened to this dude, right? So, what would you do?
Yeah, thanks for bringing up that Duncan, Terry, and Wiggins aren't going to get us nothing because Heat fans will be like, why trade Tyler? It's first, bro, trade Terry, Duncan, and Wiggins for Giannis.
Yeah.
No, it don't work like that. Like, you got to give to get. As far as Andrew Wiggins, that was one of the first things that I was actually right about. Before the trade happened, we heard it rumored. I said I wouldn't like it. I ended up being pretty right. And I want to clarify, too. People say, oh, you got Davion out of it. Not really. Like, you had to attach a second-round pick to Dennis Schroeder, and then you ended up getting Davion Mitchell. So it's like you traded a second-round pick for him. So that's almost kind of separate in that regard. But the reason I didn't like the Andrew Wiggins thing is because I've heard people say, oh, finally the Heat picked the direction. Not really. Wiggins is 30 years old. He's turning 31. What timeline does he fit? He don't fit Tyler Herro's timeline. He don't fit Bam Adebayo's timeline. He's older than those guys. So he don't fit the timeline. He has a big contract for multiple seasons. He can't stay healthy, and he's not a needle mover. There is no benefit whatsoever to having Andrew Wiggins on your team, at least not in the role that he's in, which is going to be kind of your second offensive threat. That's not who he is. Now, the guy that I kind of like, I like Kevin Durant. I think if Durant says Miami, you have a chance to get him on a discount because he's 36 on an expiring contract. If you're able to flip those Terry and Duncan contracts with some picks, maybe 2 picks, we'll say, to get Kevin Durant, now Wiggins slides down the slot. He goes from your second offensive threat to your third offensive threat. I think there he can be valuable. Let Kevin Durant command the main scoring. Let Tyler and Bam kind of command the second tier scoring. Then you got Wiggins to be an elite 3-and-D player, because that's what he can be. I think he can be an elite 3-and-D player at this stage of his career. But in Miami, he was being asked to take 20 shots a game. He's not good enough to take 20 shots a game. So if you kind of get Durant and slide everyone down in the pecking order by 1, then I think we could see a very positive season from Andrew Wiggins, because he had some good regular season games when he was healthy. And like you said, he was balling in Golden State prior to that. So I think he's a good player. He's just playing above his pecking order right now.
Yeah, listen, I've been preaching for Kevin Durant pretty much since the trade deadline. When I heard we offered Jay Rich and Jimmy,
we're in the minority then. Most people don't agree with us.
Yeah, no, I want Kevin Durant. The problem is my supporters, they think I'm crazy. And I've been preaching.
Told you. Me too.
Yeah, they think I'm crazy. And they're like, listen, why are we trading for Kevin Durant? He's 30 years old, 30 plus. 36 actually. And it's like, listen, he's 36 years old and we are the best player in the Miami Heat team right now at 20. These numbers are incredible. 26, 6'4", 52. He's amazing. Listen, and I get it. You trade for Kevin Durant, you're taking a little risk. But in the NBA, you have to take risks. You know why? Because Giannis is unrealistic. Let's be for real. This Giannis talk is not happening. It's never going to, I'm not going to say never, but it's just not going to happen because they're going to ask for Bam. They're going to ask after that. It's like, okay, I want Bam and Tyler. You're not doing that. You know what I mean? You're just not going to do that. And there's better offers. Like we brought it up previously. OKC, the San Antonio Spurs probably have a better offer at this point. The Rockets, there's better offers for Giannis. The Nets probably have more better offers than us because they got draft capital. Draft capital runs the league. We don't have that. You know why? Because we're over here trading first for Terry Rozier. And then the crazy thing is, and if we try to get rid of Terry Rozier, a team's going to be like, hey, listen, give me a first. If I'm taking this contract, even if it's expiring, I want a first off Terry. Then we're just going to back ourselves up even more.
We got to make a pact. If they attach it first to get rid of that Terry contract, we got to make a pact to never watch a Heat game again.
Dude,
that we can't. We can't.
I said two things. I say two things. My thing is next year, if we run it back, I don't know, man. And then two, if we trade Terry with a first, I'm gonna flip out. Like that's gonna be the end of everything. And I will talk about that next segment. But I agree. We're both on this Kevin Durant wave. I personally want Kevin Durant. I think Kevin Durant will be awesome. I think he's a little bit more cheaper than Giannis. And listen, he's still got a year left on his deal. We can go from there, see how this team performs, go from there. So I agree with the Kevin Durant situation.
Bro, now we've been waiting for the just to add on to what you said. We've been waiting for the perfect prospect forever. We say, oh, get Durant. Heat fans say, oh no, get Giannis or Anthony Edwards. They're much younger and better. It's unrealistic. You don't have the assets to get those guys. So go after Durant or trade Tyler and Bam to get assets. So 5 years from now, when Wemby asks out, you got assets to get him. Like you're 100% correct. That's something that I really want to make sure Heat fans know because that's the most important part when you're talking about these trade discussions.
Mind you, Ant, it's like, why are we being so picky in the first place? If I say let's get Kevin Durant just a year ago, the whole world would be like, get Kevin Durant now. But now it's a year later and he gets injured and this and that, and he still was amazing. I don't want Heat fans. We can't be picky. We're not in a position to be picky right now. We just can't.
You gotta buy low. That's how you win championships. Buy low and hope it works.
Exactly. Now, what I will say is though, right, moving on from the playoffs and these other guys that's eternally on our team. Say if you're Pat Riley. Let's make Ant Pat Riley today, right? I typically do some offseason previews, and I've been doing them for every team, and I did Miami. We got the 20th pick this year. We got some players, the free agents, some players on our expiring deals, stuff like that. So what's the first move you're doing if you're Pat Riley this offseason?
Take this right here. Signing them in my 2 weeks. Here you go, Mr. Mickey Harrison. Thank you for the 35 years. I appreciate it. We had a good time. You think Pat Riley puts it as 2 weeks? It's 2 weeks.
No, dude, that would be hilarious, bro. And honestly, that would be so much content, bro.
Thank you for the 35 years, Mr. Mickey. I got my plane ticket, my bag packed. I'm gonna go to Malibu with my beautiful wife, and I'm gonna live out the rest of my days. That's what the fuck I would do, because the man is 80 years old. So it's like Heat fans are like, oh, I think most are saying that he should retire, and they're giving different reasons why. Oh, he's washed. He hasn't got a star. Dwayne Wade got us everything in the last 20 years, which we have, whatever. But it's like, those are all valid reasons. The most valid reason is because he's 80. And I don't think anybody who's 80 should be employed in anything. That goes for the president of the United States, too. That's a comment that I got, which is a great point, too. It's like, bro, it gets to a certain point where you can't function mentally anymore. And I think Pat Riley's getting at that point. Look no further than Tyler Herro. I can't fathom a player who can't play defense is someone that Pat Riley covets enough to survive the Donovan Mitchell allegations, the Durant allegations twice, the Damian Lillard allegations. That tells me Pat Riley softened up. And if he softened up, he's not the man for the job anymore. Let's say he doesn't retire. I'm glad the season ended the way that it did, because I think they had a lot of excuses every year to trick themselves that the team can compete. You can't point to one thing and say, yeah, I guess they'd say Wiggins give him a training camp. I don't think they're that delusional. There's no excuses no more. So what would I do? They're not going to trade Bam. I think obviously they view him as a cornerstone because he does embody Heat culture. See what the market is for Tyler. Just see what it is. And I would say with 90% certainty, Ja's going to be available. I'd say Trae Young's got about 70%. I'd say Kevin Durant's at about 90%. And pre-Dame injury, I would have said Giannis is at 50. Post-Dame injury, you're looking at a 75% he gets moved. He said for several years now he wants to win. And you telling me that they're not going to be able to compete for another 2 years now? He's going to be a name out there. See what the trade value is for Tyler Herro. See what your other guys are worth. When a star becomes available, don't do the whole cute game where, oh, let me try to low ball, go back and forth. Put everything out there. Put it out there. See who you can get. Because as is, everything is probably not enough to beat another team anyways. So just put it out there. Unless it's Kevin Durant. That I think you could maybe lowball a bit if he says Miami. But outside of him, put it all out there. See what you can get. And if you can't get anyone, sell. Trade Tyler for 2 picks. Trade Bam for 2 picks. Now you're going to have, I guess, that'd be 6 first-round picks plus the 3 they already have. That'd be 9 tradable first-round picks. So you're going to shed a lot of cap space. You're going to have 9 first. So you're going to go into that 2026 offseason that everyone has coveted with max salary cap space, 9 first-round picks, Nikola Jovic and Khalil Ware. See what you can work with that.
I love how you don't throw Jaime in there because that kid has no value right now.
You got to attach it first to get rid of him. Same as Terry.
Dude, I was talking to Martell and I said, listen, how do we have 2 players on our team that just forgot how to play basketball? Terry Rozier and Jaime. They just completely forgot how to play basketball. They don't know how to shoot, dribble, anything. It's crazy to me. But I do want to wrap it up a little bit and ask the final question, man. Listen, as a Miami Heat fan, for me specifically, I think it's time to, if we don't get Kevin Durant, we don't get these star players, it's time to do a small rebuild. I think you brought it up until 2026. I think that's the better free agency. This year's free agency is trash. And another thing, too, is free agency doesn't really exist no more because players just get signed to contracts before they even hit the market. So it's mainly trades now, and then with the new CBA market, stuff like that. But I do want to say this, though. JJ Redick, and I know this is involving the Lakers, he did come out today and said, listen, he expects a lot of movement this offseason involving star players. Now, I don't know what the hell he knows, so this doesn't mean nothing. But it's interesting a coach saying that because I typically don't really hear coaches saying that. You know what I mean? So the Miami Heat definitely need to do something. And if they can't do something, I think it's time to slowly listen to Ant. Let's get Tyler out of here. Get some trades because there's no point in constantly keep running it back, But any last thoughts about this team, this offseason, the draft, anything that you've been looking at for this Miami Heat team?
Yeah, maybe this is the delusional fan of me. I think this will be the most active offseason that we've seen for the Miami Heat in the last several years because although you got the Wiggins contract, you still have more cap space than you did when you had Jimmy. You still have more first-round picks. 3 tradable firsts is the most they've had in the entire Jimmy era, and there's no excuses no more. I think it's as obvious to everyone in that front office that major changes are needed, and fortunately, it coincides with the 5 stars that I named that I think are likely on the move. So that excites me from a content standpoint because we've had nothing to talk about since Damian Lillard. Jimmy carried us for a couple months there, but outside of Jimmy, nothing to talk about. So at the very least, listen, I'm not the biggest Ja Morant guy. I like Ja. It's just the injuries scare me. Go get Ja. That gives us a whole year of content right there. So selfishly, go do it. Another guy we should add in there. So that'd be 6, right? We got Trae, Ja, KD, Giannis. I think that's the 4. The 5th guy is Zion. I think Zion could also be out there. So you got 5 names that are realistically available with the most assets you've had in a long time to do it. And fortunately, Tyler Herro built up his trade value a little bit this season too. So we'll see what happens, but I think it'll be a fun one for sure. So make sure y'all subscribe to Trent because he'll be coming to you with all the content all off season for sure.
Definitely, man. Listen, and last thing I'll say is, man, for 365 days, man, I'm already thinking I'm at 120, and I'm just like, dude, I know this offseason, when the playoffs is over, this offseason is it's going to be like, I'm going to be picking for content. Like, content is going to be dry. So please do something. We trade for Ja. I can talk about his antics. I can talk about anything about Ja, man. So I'm looking forward, man. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely go check out Anthony DiNardo. And we out. Peace.
Appreciate y'all.